We're live right now, so we're going to break down this real estate wholesaling deal, this real estate deal, and I'm going to break down everything from kind of the start to finish on this one and kind of break everything down. So, guys, you can also talk to me one-on-one absolutely for free right here, and we'll get it going. One thing before I break it down, guys, I've been getting a lot of messages. A lot of people have been faking me and telling you that go message me and buy this crypto type thing. And from guys, I don't do that. I don't ever ask for any money. There's a ton of people scamming, pretending to be me. Most likely it's not me. If it is not an Instagram handle from Flip with Zach, most of them have 2 H's or 2 Z's. Just guys, I will never ask you for your money. The scammers are trying to do it. There's nothing I can do. There's like 10 made every day of me. So just understand that. But let's kind of break down exactly. And I love Kiara. She lives for the intro. Jason's all for the intro. We love you, Sean. We love you, Sean. But yeah, let's break everything down. So let's kind of break down this deal. So if you're ever scrolling through a Zillow on Port St. Lucie and you basically see like it looks like 90K profit like within a month or two, it's usually me. I don't know really anyone else in Port St. Lucie that kind of does it like we do here. That's pretty good. So let me show you a little bit of proof, social proof here that what we do. So this is the property in question. Made some TikToks, made some shorts on it, kind of showing a little more. Can never do a video because there's always somebody there bothering me on the property. And the buyer was there once on the last one I tried to go on. And that's for another whole different one. But yeah, that buyer said, "You're not the seller. You're too young." I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." And that guy was like 35, but maybe the person's watching. But basically, I'm just showing you here. We sold this property pretty much a couple weeks ago. Port St. Lucie, nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So let's sort of break down a little more about this. The one thing I want to show you about today's market, like how even right now I'm doing $50,000 deals, is because number one, the number one thing you got to understand here is I sold this property on the MLS for $214 and some change. I didn't show the exact numbers on here, but let's go look up the median home price in Port St. Lucie. So the number one question I get from people is like, Zach, how am I able to make a ton of money in real estate wholesaling? How am I making money right now? The gurus say, buy my course, whatever. Guys, I'm going to show you the secret. So here's one thing. I made $50K on this deal. I made $50,000 on a deal I bought for like $150K. I bought the deal for $150K, sold it for $250. I'm going to show you the HUDs. I'm going to show you it all. Okay, like I'll show you the proof. The one thing I can tell you right now is I go below the median price. So this one sold. I locked it up for $150. Zestimate I think was like $220, $230 on the property, or maybe even $240. But like, let's kind of look here on the median home price in Port St. Lucie, Florida, up 40%, with like insane. Port St. Lucie usually drops 50% during the last crash, 60% last time I think. So it is set up to go down like crazy. The appreciation in Port St. Lucie is like insane. But what I can tell you right now is in Port St. Lucie, which is kind of my market, I live a little south of there. But basically, this deal was for $215, which is cheap real estate, right? Comparatively, the average home value is $400,000. And guess what I did? I was going after properties that were lower value. What do you think that meant? That meant it's easier to get deals when it's cheaper real estate. It's pretty simple, right? I think that's a very crazy concept for a lot of wholesalers, but it is absolutely true. Like, you want to come out here and start making a ton of money in wholesaling, you have to come out here and go below the median price of the property. I don't know why most wholesalers don't do it, but I checked the audio right there, but you have to be below the median. And this is almost 50%. This is almost half off the median home price. Like, guys, there's so many properties like this out here, but there's also properties that are worth a lot more than this. So just to understand, ladies and gents right here watching, if you want to start making a ton of money, start doing good deals in your market, and you're complaining about saturation, the property values are too high, you need to go way below the median, even slash that in half if you can. That's one thing I can tell you. Like, these properties are under 1,300 square feet. And no, like, it's really hard to make like 150K on a deal like this. Like, I get it, right? But if I can make 50K on this, which I pushed it, probably a 35K, 40K, or but like if I can make $40,000 on a property I lock up for 150,000, those are really good margins. Like, it's really hard to beat those margins, right? Like, everyone sees me doing $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 deals now. Those are things I'm locking up for like 300, right? So just understand that, guys, how I came up with this deal. This is one lesson I want to bring up, that we've been targeting a lot of lower priced homes and it's working really good. So just understand. So if you ever go on like Port St. Lucie Zillow and you see a house like this that got like bought and sold within a month for like 150 and then sold for like 214, like insane amount, just understand it's probably us. So give us a shout out if you see any of those properties. There's a ton of them in our local market, but like everyone asks, like, why do you do your local market when you make more in virtual? It's just like these things are just like they're just sitting there. Come on, like you walk past the kitchen, you see a donut laying there. It's like, why are you not gonna go after the donut? Like it's just sitting there, right? Like, of course there's a cake in the fridge, but like the donut's there. Of course I'm gonna grab a bite. Or like, all right, like you're going by, they're like tater tots right there, and they're like cooling down. I'm gonna take a couple tater tots on my way to the meal because just it's there, right? That's the way I do my deals locally. It's like these $50,000 deals are just sitting there. Why aren't going to go after them? One thing y'all got to understand, please do not be, you have to go below the median sales price and the home price. If there's one thing I can get through y'all's skulls right now today, please go below the median price, even cut that in half if you can. Now, of course, if you're in like Indiana, it's like prices are worth like 150 on average. It's harder to do. There's a fine line because in Port St. Lucie, mostly Fort Pierce, there's properties that I can buy for 30,000 and they're high crime areas and you're not going to make more than 10, 5-10 grand per deal. So like there's a balance, right? But like affordable housing right now is super, super attractive to buyers, renters, landlords, flippers, all this stuff. So just understand this. So let me kind of explain how I'm able to lock up properties for such pretty cheap and make really good margins. Let me kind of show you. So the reason why I set up the video the way I did today here is, yes, it's attractive seeing making $50,000, right? Very, very, very attractive, right? That sounds super sexy and nice and great, right? That's awesome. But the one thing you need to understand is the profit's sexy, but the property's ugly. And you have to make that connection in your brain. Once that clicks in your head that ugly houses can give me really good deals, you start making more money. And where are the ugly houses? They are not the median home price. They're less than the median. They're less than average value, right? Usually lower square footage. Some of them are bigger square footage. And most importantly, they're just ugly. Let me show you this property. Let me show you this property, what we did. So good deal right there. So how did we find the deal? I'll be straight up with you. We found this from our ROS postcard. Just go to mailingmastery.com. That's where we brought it. That's basically the postcard we do. We just send offers pretty much straight up. We just send the offers. Always works really, really well. So we just send the offers on the postcard. I think we sent an offer for like 200,000 on the postcard here. And obviously that was in of its best condition. Obviously it was really ugly. So she's like, oh, at the recording, I should have released the recording, but whatever. We will keep her identity lower. But we basically 200 was the offer on the postcard. So we sent offers on the postcards. And she basically was like, oh, well, my property needs a lot more work, right? And this is actually a virtual deal. Like the seller actually lived in Georgia. So we literally locked it up over dot loop. So this is technically a virtual wholesaling deal. I should put that in the title. That's sexier. But we kind of were in person. Like I get it. We still went to the house. So I'll call it a local deal. But it was technically virtual because the seller was in Georgia. And it was a rental property. And basically the situation on the property was like we sent it over for 200. She's like, okay, 200 is way too high. I get it. I know. I know it's way too high, Zach. We got to go lower. And they're like, because the property needs a lot of work. So we go there and we basically say, this house is like nasty, ugly. So guess what we did? Pretty simple. We offered her way less. We negotiated in the middle, 150, pretty much good to go. So let me show you a little bit about the property. So the outside looks fine. I made a bunch of TikToks on it because the one thing that was really attractive on this property was not even the $50,000 deal. The house next door I'm trying to do. That's why I'm kind of protecting a little more. We're actively trying to get the deal next door because the deal next door, you can't see it from this picture right here, but it's boarded up and has really tall grass. So if I make 50K here, I could make 50K on the next deal over. And I don't want to like, I know you guys are gonna be upset. I'm not giving the address and stuff out, but like we're trying to keep it kind of on the DL because it's a really good deal next door. So we're dealing with the seller right now on that deal too. So this is the outside, like nothing crazy. So the story on this property was older lady in Georgia owned the property for like 20 years, lived in Port St. Lucie, moved to Georgia. She got old, and then she basically gave it to the daughter. They kind of co-owned it, and they managed the rental together, and now they just want to get rid of it, right? So pretty simple. I mean, they bought the house for like $20,000, like back in the 80s. Now, I think it was like 40. I think they bought it for like 40 in like the 80s because it was built in the 70s, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 78, 79. I got to look at the thing on here. But like, so this thing's been rented to the same landlord tenant for 18, 19 years. Like the same tenant's been living in there. So very interesting deal. So basically we had to kick them out because they stopped paying they stopped paying after 18 years, which is kind of crazy. So, I mean, they were paying, but like they were always late. They tried. So basically, let me tell you the motivation. So the seller tried to evict the seller. The seller tried to evict the tenant of 18 years, like twice, and they just didn't comply. And she didn't want to do the hassle of the eviction stuff. So we actually locked the property up, I believe, for $175,000, if I'm not mistaken. We locked up for 175 grand. And guess what happened there? We're pretty much good to go. And she said basically the tenant's not leaving. So we actually renegotiated after seeing some more problems on the property, and we agreed to buy it with the tenant in place. This is a situation why I couldn't hold. Looking at this property, this is 100% a deal. I have to wholesale. I purchased it. We purchased it ourselves, our company. I took the risk on this because I was able to get a $25,000 discount. It was so cheap. And most importantly, I could kick the tenant out really easy because I know what I'm doing, right? I'm right there. I get them out. I knock on the door every day, right? Not harassing to a point, but basically they weren't dealing with the person because they knew they weren't local. So I had to go up there. Only spoke Spanish. So shout out to my boy Dylan for the Spanish lessons. I tried my best, communicating through Google Translate, which is nice. I had a couple buddies speak Spanish, so they kind of helped me through the way too much. But basically, I actually knocked on the door and I actually talked to him because I was kind of by the way, and I didn't want my acquisitions people to deal with that because I wanted to see kind of their lingo to a point. So I basically went there, talked to them, and they said, "Oh, we can get out." And so they promised to get out. Waited a couple weeks, never got out. So we basically offered them cash for keys, and they were pretty much good with that. So worked pretty well. So I think it costs like $500 to get them out. No big deal. But this is the property. It's actually technically a 2-2. It has an enclosed garage, but the enclosed garage is permitted. So very, very attractive right here. Not bad. I mean, looks fine. Like not a sexy house. The AC is not working. The roof's really bad. Roof leaks. Like the whole 9 yards, right? Like this is probably a $250,000 property that I sold for $215,000 that needs $40,000 in work. Like the person that bought this, just being honest, and this is no animosity, but like I don't think they're gonna make any money on this deal. And they said they're gonna rent it out, so maybe. But like, let me show you the bathroom. So this is the bathroom on the property. When I saw the pictures here, disgusting house. I saw this bathroom and I was like, we could do all full renovations. This is when interest rates started hiking, and I'm like, maybe just wholesale this property. Like there's too much of a headache going on here. I don't want to do the full renovations on it. But we had to close on it to get that extra discount, and basically got a $25,000 reduction for just spending an extra $500. But I had to close on it myself. But not bad. I mean, bathroom's nasty. Bedroom's okay, right? The outside had some issues. I think it was a wood frame house. AC wasn't running there. Smelled terrible. 3 dogs in the house. Basically, this is like, I think the wood was having a problem there. It needed the whole 9 yards. And we were thinking about doing the full like gut renovations, but I'm not a flipper, guys. I'm not a big fan of the big flips. I just like doing the wholesales and maybe the wholesale. So technically a wholesale. I didn't really want it to be a wholesale, but it was a pretty good deal. The reason why I'm talking to you guys here is you're going to have situations where you're going to have to provide unique solutions to the seller. So I was able to get a $25,000 reduction on the price on this because I offered to buy it with the tenant in place and kick the tenant out. Now, maybe you don't have the money where you can actually do it like I did. That's fine. But you can offer, so do a $25,000 reduction on the price, but offer to the cash buyer $5,000 reduction in the price if they could just kick the tenant out themselves, which gives you a $20,000 of extra equity in the deal for your assignment fee. So I think that's the biggest lesson I wanted to share. The reason why I wanted to break this deal down in particular, two reasons: because we're below the median home price on it. Oh, three reasons: but we're below the median home price. The house is stupid ugly, which shows it's a lot of money. And lastly, I got a reduction. I'm not a fan of price reductions. I get it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't like doing it. I don't know why I'm telling you too much on it, but like I'm not telling everyone it. But like this was a situation that it was a tighter deal that we were able to get a lot of more equity out of the deal for it. It works really well. I can tell you it was a really good deal. So let's see what else we got here. Was this this was the HUD for selling it? Just for my boys, my haters. Of course, I kind of crossed a bunch of stuff out, but this is kind of what a HUD looks like for a lot of newbies out here. But pretty much that was it. The person had hard money on it. They said cash, but it was hard money, but it was fine. I mean, they bought it for such a stupid high price. It was fine. But cheaper houses are doing really well. So we bought it for that, bought it for 150. So ended up probably being about 49,700 at the end of the day. Worked very, very well for me. Now, I say $49,700 in profit. It could have been more or less. I could have bid it out a little more. I just wanted to get rid of the property, dispo it, so we can just deal with other houses. Not a bad deal though, I would say. You know, we actually got funding for the deal because I just didn't want to use our own funds on it because I had the risk on there. We got some other crazy projects going on, so we added that in there too. So it's like $49,700, pretty good. And then we kind of kept the cash in reserves for us for some other deals we're doing right now that I don't want to get into right now because they're a little crazier on the renovation side. But what I can tell you right now is this was a $49,700 deal. 2 weeks. Buyer kept going to the house, so I couldn't do any videos there. Not the best to go do that when not do a video how I make 50K in front of the buyer because they could get out of the deal. I know, but I feel like I did the right thing there. So pretty good.